We got the card. Okay, how the heck did you do that?
All right, so I will show you.
All right, you guys, I'm gonna be honest. I've been in a rut lately. Physically, mentally, emotionally. It's hot AF in this apartment. And I just feel like I need a new spark in my life to just get me motivated to do anything again.
So I realized I needed to inject a little bit more magic into my everyday life. So I came to one of the most magical places on earth, and that is New York City. Dang it, you can't even see it. How embarrassing. Anyway, I'm in New York City right now. Technically, I am in Queens, which is a borough that I've never been to, because we are off to go interview probably one of my coolest interview subjects to date. No offense to everybody else that I've interviewed, but one of my bucket list items, as you guys know, is to learn a magic trick. I had one of the world's most renowned illusionists, performing artists, and magicians reach out to me and offer to teach me a magic trick. So we're gonna go learn a little bit more about the magic industry and see if we can learn a cool little card trick along the way. So I am very excited about today's interview because I have one of the world's most innovative illusionists and performing artists, Jeanette Andrews. So Jeanette, tell us a little bit about some of the magic that you do, some of your credentials, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of how you started.
Okay, right on. Well, I'm a New York City-based magician and artist, and I'm so lucky in that magic has been my life's passion and profession, and so really my full-time job is doing performances and talks for corporate events and high-end social events. And then everything that I do that's for the public is all in the contemporary art world and academia. I do a lot of commissions with museums, both in terms of performance and then now also sound, audio, video, and sculpture. So and kind of how magic and illusion comes into the fold in those ideas.
How did you get your start in magic?
Yeah, so I got started by seeing Siegfried and Roy TV special as a 4-year-old. And I just thought that that's what I'm gonna do. And I got a magic substance that year, and a couple months later did my first magic performance for my preschool class.
For preschool. That's so funny to me because it's just like, oh yeah, I guess everybody loves magic at that point, but you latched onto it and you're like, this is my passion.
Yeah, and I mean, I got crazy lucky in that my parents took it seriously. They were like, oh, I'm gonna be, firefighter, ballerina, astronaut. And I was like, no, I'm going to be a magician.
Yeah.
Like, for real. And they were like, okay. Here's some evidence.
What's an example of, like, what a performance would look like for you?
My most recent project, which is a piece called In Plain Wilson. Basically, it's a conceptual piece of music in tandem with magic, where I took traditional Morse code that we think of in terms of the uniform, like, beeping noises, and then I created a music notation and turned that into melodic music notation. So that basically you could letter by letter translate any text into this music.
Into music, okay.
So then for years, I performed a piece of magic where a secret of magic was revealed in text form in the Western world. It was from 1584. And so I basically took this 16th century text, letter by letter translated it into my Morse code music notation. And now it's a 44-minute score for solo and cello.
Oh, wow. So that's a lot more than pulling a rabbit out of a hat.
It is. Basically what happens, I have I've worked with all these amazing cellists that I feel so grateful for, who perform the piece of music in tandem with me performing the piece of magic. So basically you're listening purely in music form to the secret of one of the first pieces of magic, and then you're seeing me do the visual manifestation of that secret piece of magic.
And what does the visual look like?
Well, no, I can't reveal the secret, but for that, but just in case anybody sees it. But it's a really, just a really kind of dainty piece of
but it also just sounds so multifaceted in what you're putting into your performances, because you also do a lot of research when it comes to your performances. What's the process of creating a new project?
Yeah, it's a bit crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like I actually took a video today that I was like, Oh wow, I look like I'm like trying to solve a crime. I figured out that one of the things that works best for me is endlessly writing an 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper and taping them to my wall.
Oh, so it's like the strings.
And then like brainstorming things and like taking like thought bubble things. So I literally have an entire wall covered in like different sizes of papers and posted up. It looks
Yep,
It
but that's
looks
your
like-
process.
it's
You got
my process, but I look like
no.
a crazy detective or something.
But your magic is very unique to you because you combine philosophy and physics. How do you go about that? And why is that important for you in your terms of style of magic?
Yeah. So I'm so lucky in that I get to use magic, I think, to explore and be curious about the world. Because I think magic is a really interesting medium to sort of express these other things and sort of think about like the world around us is a genuinely fascinating and amazing place. Like the fact that right now you and I can sit here, we're both sitting here in chairs that are like counteracting like each of our bodies in relation to gravity. We're outside, there's sun, there's plants that are growing. The amount of things that are happening right now to make this moment possible is infinite and like mind-bending. And so magic, I think, sort of points out in a weird way how a lot of times the brain is just selecting for certain parts of experience and focusing on certain parts of experience, and then a lot of times kind of not paying attention to the rest.
Yeah.
And so magic is a really interesting tool to kind of, well, use that to then also point that out.
That's such a cool perspective because it's like I feel like a lot of people see magic and physics as opposites, when really you're finding the magic in the physics and kind of combining them. Fun fact, I don't like magic shows, like traditional magic shows, because I feel like
I don't either.
yeah, it feels like I'm getting bamboozled, or like they're trying to be like, you got,
Yep.
and then I get frustrated, like I can't figure it out. I feel like they just tried to trick me, sort of thing. But what you're describing, it feels more of like an art.
The main things to me is like kind of what you're talking about is like the idea of trying to change people's perception of what magic can be as a vehicle for these greater dialogues. And like that's like I had a friend who said to me, and this is like this is a meaningful thing I can think of recently, who came to a performance I did, and I was shocked that this one friend of mine came because I know that she explicitly does not like magic.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, thank you so much for coming. I said, I especially know that you're not really a fan of magic. And she said, I'm not, like, I don't love magic, but I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, you know, and it's like, that's the sort of thing that it's like, if any way that I can contribute to people saying, like, hey, maybe this doesn't fit the stereotypes I was thinking, or maybe this isn't about somebody having some weird power game one-upsmanship thing.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What has been your proudest moment in your entire career?
Wow, that's a great question. I feel fortunate in that I'm having to think about it because I'm just there's so many a few things. I would say I've done a couple of commissions for the Museum of Contemporary Art Chicago. Those have been monumentally important for me. In 2020, based off of one of the commissions that I've done for the Museum of Contemporary Art, it's asked to be an affiliate, which is actually a technical title, of a digital humanities research lab at Harvard.
Wow.
I was like, I can't even express the emotion.
What was that like?
It was one of the most like fruitful, fulfilling experiences of my life, because of the people that I could not believe that I got to be in conversation with people who were so kind and generous and deeply thoughtful. And then right now I actually need this week to go and do my first performances in Europe. So
You're going abroad. That's amazing.
yeah, so very excited, doing a talk for the British Society of Aesthetics on the phenomenology of surprise. So I've been doing deep dive research into surprise and just doing the UK premiere of Listen, and then also sort of a performed conversation and performance pieces on sort of the cultural evolution of magic. Like we
Yeah. What do your parents think of how successful you are now when they were the ones supporting you from the beginning and just being like, this is your passion, you got to go for it?
They are so proud. My dad is so like he'll wanted like he'll be sad that I said this on an interview, but he's a very sentimental person. He's got a dichotomy of a personality in that he's like his sports guy, his background and like a professional background has been like sports like strength training, sports management, whatever, but he's also like a very sentimental guy. So he is so proud, as my mom, and you know that's I owe obviously everything I am to them. One of the things I'm most grateful for is how they went about supporting what I do, because they never supported my magic financially.
Okay.
Like the first magic that I did, from 6, I got paid $10 for the show. So that was in 1996.
Yeah.
1996, $10. I was like, I don't know, yes.
Be like, shopping spree.
Oh my God, yes. And so at the time, there was a magic book that at the time was $40. And I was like, so
You're gonna have to work all year.
I know. Well, basically, more or less, like my parents' attitude was kind of like, you did your show, you made your $10 a week, could not be more proud of you. When you do 3 more shows, we'll drive you to buy the book.
Oh my gosh.
We'll help you read the book. Dad will help you make the profit.
But they're still not buying it for you.
Shelled out. And so it was like, so literally since I was like a kid, thankfully because of having very entrepreneurial parents, they were just like, figure out how to like do this. We will build stuff with you. We will drive you to your shows. We will watch you practice. We will videotape you practicing. Like all of this stuff. They went to the ends of the earth to like help me do all that and of that other stuff. But they weren't just gonna be like, here you go.
Mm-hmm.
And so that changed the way I think about running my business. Changed the money. It changed the way. And since I was a young kid, so I'm so grateful.
And that explains your work ethic and your constant like desire to improve, because you were the one who always had to actually put in the work. It wasn't just going to be handed to you. Exactly. So you have to be constantly innovating in that sense.
Exactly. And I saw that work ethic coming from both my parents in their own lives too. So being shown that by example, and then also having that kind of explicitly instilled was just I could not have asked for anything better.
Yeah. And you've been doing this for 25 years now. Are you proud of yourself?
Honestly, yes. Like I feel, you know, I think especially as women, like we're not supposed to say that.
Mm-hmm.
We're not supposed to say like, yeah, I feel proud of the fact that I've worked thousands and thousands of hours and like all of this stuff to like try to do something interesting in my field. But I'm finally like hitting a stride in what I'm doing where I'm like, yeah, actually, you know, you know.
And it's like, doesn't mean that you're going to stop here. It's like, hey, I did everything I wanted to do.
God,
No, if anything, it keeps you motivated to keep working. But
100%.
just talking to you, it's just like, everything you're saying is so inspiring. It's like, you've worked hard for so long, but you're also constantly looking to the future of what you can do next.
Always.
So then for everybody else at home, maybe not might be magicians, how can they inject a little bit more magic into their everyday lives?
Oh, that's a great question. God, these are all so good. Is, you know, again, like to me, the root of everything I do is just like, I'm just so curious about this stuff. And I'm just like, oh, I'm like, what's that plant? You know? And then I'm just like, okay, I don't know. I'm going to Google this. And like, we're all lucky in that we can just go down these Google rabbit holes.
Yeah.
And so then for me, like something I've started to do a lot is I just a bunch of like Google Drive folders and like, here's interesting things I found about whatever, or here's this, or
I'm a list taker through and through. I do the same thing. So I love that. And it's just more about like being curious, like you said. But one of the first things you said was, isn't it amazing how like we're sitting on a chair and the chair, the gravity, everything about that. Just being curious, but also finding the little nuances of how magical this world actually is. Okay, well, I think we're ready to learn an actual trick, because as you guys know, I'm doing the bucket list, and one of my bucket list items was to learn a magic trick. And I had a real world-renowned magician reach out to me to teach me one, so let's learn one.
All right, so I will show this to you first, and you'll get to see how it will look when you do it. Okay, so go ahead, grab a card for us. All right, take a look. You remember your card, show it to them. Okay. Got it? Okay. Excellent. I want you just pop your card back in the deck somewhere, wherever you want. Okay. Got it? Great. So you're going right into the middle there. Now, you may have heard stories about people who claim that they have sort of a heightened sense of touch. So we're going to try to experiment with this, sort of like in a sci-fi kind of way. Like, if I were to have some amazingly keen ability, what it would be like if I could figure out from the deck, just by feeling individual cards, which one I thought. Okay. And so I'm just relying on my sense of touch. I'm going to make it one step harder. I'm going to make sure I'm not looking. I'm going to take the entire deck and actually put it behind my back. All right. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start feeling through the cards. All right. I think this one is yours. And to make it stand up from the rest, I'm going to actually reverse it in the deck. All right. I think I got it. All right. Let's take a look. That's a card. Go ahead.
We got the card. Okay, how the heck did you do that?
All right, so I will show you. That was pretty cool. That was cool.
Okay, well, I'm ready to try it then. All right.
Do you want to try it together?
Yes.
Okay, great. We've got different cards here. Go ahead and pick them.
Yay.
Pick a card. Okay.
Take a look.
Okay.
Show it to the camera. Okay, go ahead and put it back.
Slide it.
Slide it in. Okay, so I think I have your card, and I think it's this one right here.
Okay.
But to go a step further, put it back. Your card is going to be the only face-up card. I don't think I did it right. Oh, there it is.
Oh,
I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
But it starts from the basics, and then that's how you become a professional magician like you.
Totally.
Well, thank you so much for teaching me.
Oh my God, thank you.
It was such a pleasure, and I'm gonna now have a party trick every time I go out. I think I'm gonna
You
test this on my
are-
sister later.
You should. You should do it at bars so you can get some free drinks.
Ooh, good call, good call. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yay.
Oh my gosh.
So talking to Jeanette was honestly so inspiring, one of the coolest interviews I've ever done. But it was time to perfect my magic trick because that was the bucket list item after all. So after a few, unfortunately, successful attempts, I just wasn't getting the moves down correctly to really impress my friends. I did a little bit more practice and I was finally able to show it to my cousin. So here is my version of the final magic trick. These are my cousins, and I will be showing them the magic trick that I learned. So I'm gonna have you guys pick a card. Well, just one of you. Let's have Brett do it. Go ahead and pick any card. Show it to the camera, please. Show it to my family, my friends. All right, now go ahead and put it anywhere in the deck. Just slide it in. So now, I'll be able to feel which card that you put in this deck. But to make it a little trickier, prove it, I'm gonna do it behind my back. Okay. I think this is your card. So I'm going to put it back into the deck, and it should be the only card now that is upside down. Was this your card?
It was.
Nice. Magic! So magic trick complete. Thank you again, Jeanette, so much for sharing your story and encouraging us to inject a little bit more magic in our day-to-day lives. But now we're heading out of New York and on to our next destination. So I will see you guys in the next 30 before 30 bucket list vlog. Dang it. We're going to Wisconsin.